Don't suggest to do this on the folding bike, but I can use this bike without my hands on the handlebar. I do have to balance a little bit, but this is pretty good for a folding bike.
What's up, y'all? So I received what might be the best affordable folding bike as of 2025. I'm really saying that because of the company that sent me the bike, which is Jasion. This would be my fourth e-bike from Jasion. All three e-bikes I've gotten for Jasion so far has been really great bikes. They've been very durable. They usually have a lot of speed to them, and they usually have all of the bells and whistles that you would need for an e-bike. Which is crazy because usually Jasion e-bikes are under $1,000. So far Jasion has not missed regarding their e-bikes. So this bike is called the Jasion Hunter Pro. What's cool is even though it's affordable, it has a 1,000 watt motor with an 1,800 watt peak advertised to go over 30 miles an hour, but I'm going to test that out. Maximum weight of the rider on this bike is 400 pounds. Not sure how much this bike weighs. Hopefully by the time this video is posted, they'll have a link up for this bike. This is a brand new bike from Jasion. The gross weight of this box is 85 pounds. The net weight is 73 pounds. So although it's affordable, it has hydraulic brakes, and I believe it has a torque sensor, which I like over your speed or like cadence sensor. To purchase this e-bike, feel free to use my link and my code in the description below to get a discount. Also, I am doing an e-bike giveaway. If you want to be included in this giveaway, you have to be subscribed to the channel, and comment below on what type of e-bike you would like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbox this, go through all of the features, go on-road, off-road. Because this is a folding bike, I'm going to fold it up, take it to like a more urban area, see what that's like, and see is this the best folding e-bike that's affordable as of 2025. I'm looking forward to this one just because it's from Jasion. So this is what the bike looks like fresh out the box. I think it came wrapped pretty well. It came with a lot of foam around the body. So this is what the bike looks like without the wrapping. Doesn't look like anything was damaged. I doubt if anything is damaged with all of the wrapping that came on here, but looks like we're going to have to put a lot together on this bike. We are going to have to put the handlebar on, which is already attached via wires, but look like we're going to have to put the piece of the handlebar pole on. We're going to have to put our 20x4 all-terrain Chow Yang tire on. Chow Yang tires are my favorite e-bike tires at the moment because they are very grippy and very durable. We're going to have to put our front fender on. We're going to have to put our seat pole and seat on, and that seat is wider than most. This bike came with a box, so let's see what's in the box. We have an owner's manual, but looks like it's online, so you would have to scan this in order to get the owner's manual on your phone. A nice set of tools, and I like the way they organized it here, and these are hexagon wrenches that I can actually use. We have our front axle, so it looks like we do have a quick release front axle, which I love. We have our pedals. These pedals do fold, and they are labeled. Came with our battery charger with the Jasion logo on it. Looking for our headlight, but look like it's also already attached. So the first thing we're going to install is our front wheel. So because this front fork is curved here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the headlight here. Then I'm going to put the front fender here behind the headlight. So the headlight is going to be here. The front fender is going to be here. Then I'm going to put my screw in here in order to put it all together like that. I have noticed that I've had to use my own hexagon wrench set on some of these screws. And I'm tightening these screws up now, but just know that when I get the actual handlebar on, I may have to tighten it up again because I'll have to align it once I get the handlebar on, right? So. We got this bike put together, only took us about, I would say, 35 to 40 minutes. The dimensions of this bike is pretty standard for a folding bike. It's about 5 feet 6 inches long from wheel to wheel. The seat can go down pretty low. It's like 2 feet 5 inches at the lowest point from the floor. And the handlebar, which is kind of adjustable, you can adjust the angle of your handlebar. Where we have it now is like 4 feet 2 inches from the floor. And I would say all in all, this is a pretty standard looking folding bike, except for the handlebar. So usually on a folding bike like this, we'll have like a horizontal beam handlebar. This bike gives us more of like a BMX style handlebar. I like the BMX style handlebars on folding bike. Matter of fact, my favorite folding bike at the moment has this BMX style handlebar on it. I think it gives you more control of your bike, but the downside of the BMX style handlebar is you cannot adjust the height of your handlebar. You can just adjust the angle. You can still fold this handlebar by pulling this lever up here. I'm trying to do it while I hold the camera, and then you can fold that handlebar down. If you want to fold the body, then you would push this up here, undo that clamp, and then you can fold the body. And this is what the bike looks like when it's folded. It doesn't look like the BMX style handlebar. Will make it a whole lot harder to fold up and put in our car, but I guess we'll see. How the bike is folded, this is how you take your battery out. So we have ridden the bike a little bit, so we have already put the key in the bike. You have to ride this bike with the key in it. To take the battery out, when the bike is folded, you just undo this, turn the key that way, and you see this metal piece goes in. So we have to remove the key, okay? Now we can take our pretty standard folding e-bike battery out. Now to put the battery back in place, of course you put this back and you have to turn the key, and now that pushes that out, and now you can actually turn your bike on. We've already took this bike on a small bike ride, but we haven't went off-road yet, but pretty sure these tires are going to perform well because these are Chow Yang tires. All in all, I think this is a standard looking folding bike with a BMX style handlebar, but what y'all think of how this bike look? Comment below, let me know. Look at that suspension. And I've never had this brand of suspension on an e-bike before, I don't think. But I have had this suspension set up on folding bikes before, and it's usually hit or miss. I wouldn't say it always delivers, but it does deliver, I would say maybe like 70% of the time. Give y'all a look at this rear suspension. It seems kind of tight. We also have suspension in the front of the bike, but looks like we can only open this suspension up or lock it out. We can't like adjust the compression, so let's go ahead and open it up here. Give y'all an idea of this front suspension. We have a wide and comfortable bike seat.
What?
Like this thing is about 10 inches wide, and yeah, it's pretty soft. Ergonomic. What is going on? Get a look at our rear and front 180 millimeter hydraulic brakes. This BMX style handlebar is pretty wide for a folding bike. It's about 2 feet 3 inches wide. Looks like we have your standard hard, like rubbery grips here. We have your standard Shimano 7-gear shifter. Again, because we have the key in the bike already and it's already turned to on, now we can turn our display on. So we're going to press and hold this orange button at the bottom, and that turns our colorful display on. Over here on our panel, looks like we have a horn. Oh, that's pretty loud. If I click this button, that turns our pretty noticeable turning signal on. Go ahead and click that button to turn it off. I press and hold this button at the top. That turns my small but pretty bright headlight on and my rear light on. And that rear light is also a brake light. Press and hold to turn our headlight off. If I click the M button here, I will get more information on my display. Again, we have ridden the bike a little bit. You can see our trip mileage here. We've ridden the bike for about 9 miles. Click the M button. That goes to our odometer, our power, our average miles per hour, our maximum miles per hour based on our last bike ride. If I click the plus and the minus button, that will change my pedal assist mode, which is at the top there. Looks like we have 5 different pedal assist modes. On the display, looks like we also have our speed calculator here. Pretty sure you can change that to kilometers. So usually if a bike has advanced settings, you can press and hold the plus and the minus button. But with this bike, you have to use an app. So for any type of advanced settings, you would have to use your Jasion Ride app. That's the name of this app. And you can use this app to like turn your bike on. For example, this is after you connect your bike to the app. So I can turn my bike on. I can change my how many pedal assist modes I have here. I can turn my headlight on from this app if I want to. If I click on this button at the top here, I think I get more setting options there. Let's click personalize. So yeah, I can change my speed calculator from miles per hour to kilometers if I want to. We're going to keep it at miles per hour. Also here's, I guess, where I adjust my speed. So I'm going to put that up to 31 to make sure I'm going as fast as I can. Throttle speed limiter. When on, the throttle speed will be limited to the maximum speed in the current PAS level. Okay. And here it looks like you can adjust how fast you go per pedal assist mode. So that's pretty straightforward. Let's now click on other settings, see what we get here. Here we can adjust how bright our display is. If you want to reset your trip mileage, you can click on that button and click confirm. So now my trip time is cleared out, or you can return to all of your default settings. So
now I do think this is a great bike for urban areas because it was pretty easy to transport, and that's even with the BMX style handlebars. But also because of the BMX style handlebars, I think this bike is a bit better in urban areas than say your standard folding bike, which have more of a straight handlebar, because I do feel like I have more control of my handlebar. Like I like the BMX handlebar a bit better. From a comfort and control standpoint, I think the BMX style handlebar gives you more control of your bike. It does give you more control of urban areas. So because this bike is small, because it does have full suspension, so things like this you won't feel, you know, this is not like the best suspension I've had on a folding bike, but it's up there. Like it's decent enough. And because this bike goes pretty fast, you can go from the sidewalk to the streets pretty seamlessly. I'm about to go fast here. Let's see it go to. So yeah, I mean, that with all the bells and whistles, what more could you want in an e-bike that you use in an urban area? So you can still cut some pretty sharp turns, and you can go down some pretty narrow walkways like I'm about to try to do here. You can make some pretty sharp turns. I'm gonna go from the street to the sidewalk there pretty seamlessly. So what you get that suspension on a scale from 1 to 10?
8.5.
8.5? Jasion Hunter Pro, what are your thoughts?
I like this bike. I think this is a good like beginner's folding bike. Grippy tires. I like this because you can always put a little bag back here and take your stuff. The suspension, not that great.
Okay.
It's not horrible. This seat is probably the best seat I've ever sat on. Like,
what?
I give this seat 10 out of 10. Y'all did an amazing job. This display, nice and colorful. Like I like the twist throttle, squeaky brakes.
Okay.
You should be able to fix that, I guess.
Yeah.
I felt safe on the bike, but I could feel safer. So all in all, I'm gonna give this bike an 8.
An 8.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not gonna try out these Chow Yang tires. We're gonna go through some gravel. Pretty sure it's gonna perform well again. These are my favorite. I guess maybe it's a little slipping. Let's see. No, not really. And it rained yesterday, so. But yeah, definitely a lot of grip on the tires. It is a little slipping going on though. Let's brake here. Yeah, a little slipping. Now I definitely think these Chow Yang tires are grippy enough for you to lean into your turns. I would not suggest leaning with a folding bike's handlebar because they can spin out on you. You know what I mean? But because this is a BMX style handlebar, I feel more comfortable leaning on this folding bike. Even though it is still on a vertical swivel here, but I feel like I have more control of the lean with this BMX style handlebar. So we're not gonna go off-road with some hills. Test out the tires again. Test out the suspension, which not bad so far. Let's see. Oh wow, okay. So the front suspension is okay. Well, let's keep going. Keep going here. Oh yeah, the rear suspension is great. The rear suspension is great. Front suspension is also decent, but you know, not as good as the rear suspension, obviously. But this is not bad. I can definitely do this regarding the full suspension. This is not the best suspension I've had on a folding bike, but definitely not the worst. Let me see here. Not bad. It's pretty comfortable. It definitely does its job. It absorbs a lot of the bumps and shakes. So not bad. I say on a scale from 1 to 10, I get a suspension an 8. I have not seen a way for you to adjust your pedal assist sensitivity, but out the box, the sensitivity on this bike is pretty perfect, and that's why I love a torque sensor. I'm in mode 1 now. Let's go ahead and switch this to mode 3. Mode 1 takes me up to like 10 miles per hour. Let's go mode 3 here. So mode 3, look at this sensitivity, right? So it didn't send me flying. I feel like my pedal is being considered in how fast I go. So I can't ghost pedal here. I love that. To me, I think that makes the bike very comfortable. It helps you have better control of your bike. Looks like mode 3 takes me up to 16 miles per hour. Let's brake here. Let's now switch it to mode 4. Now watch this, mode 4. Again, the pedal assist is gonna start, not super delayed, and it's not sending me flying. Like, my pedals are still being considered here. I can't ghost pedal. Like, I can't ghost pedal, right? I love that. To me, that makes this bike very comfortable regardless of what pedal assist mode you're in, because I don't feel like I have to like pedal super fast to keep up with the motor. Also, I'm 5'11", 6 feet with shoes on. This bike is perfect, I think, for a guy my size and shorter, maybe even taller. You cannot adjust the height of your handlebar, but you can adjust the angle. So the angle I have it at now, I can kind of use this bike in a more commuter style posture with my back straight. But if I wanted to do a more aggressive style posture, I could do that too. I would just have to rotate my handlebar forward and I could be in a more aggressive style posture. If I had to choose, I'd rather do a handlebar like this because the BMX style handlebar does make your bike easier to control, less shaky, honestly less dangerous in my opinion, because you have better control of your folding bike. Let me know, would you rather have the horizontal handlebar and that you can adjust the height, or would you rather have a BMX style handlebar which gives you real good control? And with this handlebar, this bike is pretty comfortable, like really stable. Normally don't suggest to do this on the folding bike, but I can use this bike without my hands on the handlebar. I do have to balance a little bit, but this is pretty good for a folding bike for me to be able to do this. Love that the pedals are not too close to the floor. So we're now gonna go max speed, pedal assist. And again, because it's a torque sensor, pedal assist is pretty perfect, even in mode 5. Get through this turn here. So I feel like my pedal is still being considered. I feel very comfortable going in mode 5, mainly because of the torque sensor. So I'm at 28, 30. Okay, 30. Can I get to 31? Alright, looks like it's maxing out at 30. Now I will say the rear brake on this is a little squeaky. See if I can show you. Well, I guess very little, but oh, there it is, a little bit. So I would say the rear brake may need a little lube. So we're now gonna try max speed, throttle only, and I may be on the hill a little bit, but so we got up to 26 pretty quickly. 27, 28, 30. All right. Looks like we're maxing out at 30 miles per hour, max speed, throttle only. That's pretty good. So we're now about to test out the maximum speed, throttle only, but up a hill. And this is a pretty steep hill, about a 35, 40 degree hill, and it's on a turn. So let's see how much speed we lose going up this hill. Going into the hill, we're at 25 miles per hour, 26 miles per hour going into the hill now. All right, here comes the steepest part of the hill. 24, 20, 21, 19, 18, 17, 16. Okay, we lost 10 miles per hour, which is pretty standard.
Jasion Hunter Pro, I cannot stress enough how much I love this BMX style handlebar. Really gives you more control of a folding bike in my opinion. I love the speed. I love how comfortable this bike is. One of the few folding bikes with this vertical swivel handlebar that I felt comfortable using without my hands on the handlebar. Probably the second most comfortable folding bike that I've reviewed on this channel. Mainly because of the torque sensor. Like it really takes into account how hard you're pedaling, really makes your bike ride really smooth. Came with a comfortable bike seat. I definitely think the suspension was decent. The rear suspension does make up for the front suspension, but working together, it does give you a pretty comfortable bike ride off-road. Although it had the BMX style handlebar, I didn't have a whole lot of trouble folding the bike up and putting it in the back seat of my mid-size car. I love all the bells and whistles, headlight, rear light, turning signals, the horn. I'm 50-50 on the app. Only because I can't adjust things like my pedal assist sensitivity, although the pedal assist sensitivity on this bike for me was perfect. I'm iffy on the app because what if the e-bike company decides they don't want to make e-bikes anymore? What's going to happen to the app? You know what I mean? But Jasion have been around for a while, so I doubt if that happens, but still, you know, there's that chance. I really love the battery life. I don't know how they did it, but this is a 15 amp hour battery, right? I went on a 16-mile bike ride. I spent like 5 of those miles going max speed pedal assist. I spent 1 mile going max speed throttle only. In that 16 miles, I still had all of my battery bars. So I think that's definitely over like 65 miles of charge based on my bike ride. But definitely a decent folding bike for the price. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would give this bike a 9. So comment below on what you would give this e-bike on a scale from 1 to 10. Any other e-bike you want me to review, also comment below. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.